Hot weather, humidity, and long days can make even the most beautiful makeup melt away. So today I created a radiant, long-lasting, soft glam look designed specifically for warm, humid conditions. The goal here is fresh, breathable skin that still holds up in the heat. No heavy powdering, no greasy glow, just balanced radiance that works for almost any occasion. So I'm starting by rehydrating and lightly cleansing the skin using a hydrating toner from Lancôme on the cotton pad. Even if the skin is already clean, this step helps to remove any remaining impurities while giving the skin its first layer of hydration. Once the skin feels refreshed, I'm going in with less serum from Dior to add a deeper layer of hydration. I use only a small amount, warm it up between my palms and press it into the skin rather than rubbing, keeping the layers light so the makeup doesn't slide later on. I'm not forgetting to bring the serum down onto the neck, then I let it absorb while I'm moving on to the eye area. For the eyes, I'm using a small amount of Dior Capture Total Eye Cream. I gently applied under the eyes and over the lids, pressing and lightly massaging into the skin so it absorbs well. Now, if you have more fine lines under your eyes, I recommend applying a lightweight, watery consistency eye serum first, let it absorb, and then layering an eye cream on top. This helps to plump the area more effectively before makeup. Next, I'm hydrating her lips with Dior Lip Glow in the shade Rosewood. It deeply nourishes the lips while reviving their natural lip color, helping any lipstick applied later on look smoother, healthier, and more vibrant. Or it can be worn on its own for a fresh, more natural finish. Now I'm going in with the Top Secrets Instant Moisture Glow from YSL. It's an ultra-lightweight skincare makeup hybrid that works as a moisturizer and a primer in one. It locks in the hydration we applied earlier, blurs the skin, and preps for foundation while giving a healthy and natural finish. Proper hydration at this stage is the key for long-lasting makeup. When the skin feels comfortable, it is much less likely to produce excess oil or break down throughout the day. And remember, a small amount goes a long way. Now I want to subtly enhance the high points of her face, so I'm using a Radiance Primer instead of a traditional highlighter. I'm applying the Dior Star Filter in shade 2, which matches her skin tone, to the tops of her cheeks, touch on the nose and chin, slightly around the temples, anywhere where the light would usually hit. I'm using only a very small amount and I gently press it in with my fingers, allowing it to melt into the skin. This blends seamlessly with the base underneath and creates a soft, lit from within glow without any obvious shine or harsh transitions. I want to give the base a minute to set before foundation, so while that's happening, I'm quickly prepping the brows. I'm using a brow wax from Anastasia Beverly Hills on a spoolie, brushing it through the brows and slightly against the growth to make sure that every hair is coated. I brush them back into place, slightly upwards and outwards, and let them soften while I move on with foundation. For foundation, I'm using the Dior Backstage Face and Body Foundation in shade 2 Warm. It's lightweight, buildable, and resistant to heat, water, or sweat. Makes it ideal for warm and humid conditions. The texture is quite fluid, not too thick, not too watery. It's really easy to apply in very thin layers. That means you can build it from sheer skin-like tint or more coverage without it caking or feeling heavy. For this look, I'm keeping it light, just enough to even out the complexion while still feeling breathable and comfortable. I'm using a soft, fluffy Taklon bristle brush and gently bouncing it into the skin. It works a similar way as a damp beauty blender, helping to evenly distribute the foundation in a very thin layer. I usually start from the jawline and I work my way upward, blending also into the neck and around the ears, and I hold the brush usually closer to the bristles for more control. To make sure the foundation really sits like second skin, I lightly bounce a damp beauty blender over the skin using very gentle taps. This helps to even everything out, pick up any excess product or areas missed under tricky lighting, while keeping all the layers underneath intact. Now I want to add a bit of warmth and gently enhance her features without changing shape of her face. I'm using a warm toned cream contour from Dior because warmth keeps the skin looking healthy and sun-kissed rather than ashy. Before applying, I work the product into the brush first. It gives me more control and keeps everything light and buildable. I place it on the top of the cheekbone, not underneath. I'm not trying to carve or drag the face down, just enhance what she already has so the color naturally hugs her cheekbone. I keep it lifted, blending it up into the hairline and temples where the sun would naturally hit without taking too far or too low. I also softly frame the jawline, then blend whatever is left on the brush down into the neck so everything stays connected and natural with no harsh lines. Now I'm switching to a smaller dual fiber brush, working the product into the bristles first and then gently frame the sides of the nose from the top down using back and forth and small circular motions. From there, I let the same warmth naturally flow into the eye area. That movement creates a subtle, lifted shape that frames both the nose and the eyes at the same time, keeping everything cohesive and natural. Now I want to brighten the under eye area and subtly enhance key features, so I'm using the Dior Forever Skin Correct Concealer in a neutral shade 2N. Her complexion is warm-toned, and choosing a neutral undertone helps naturally brighten without turning her skin gray. Using a small fluffy brush, I add brightness in the inner corner and a touch to the outer corner for lift. I also add a touch to the center of the eyelid to bring light into the eye. Then with what's left on the brush, I diffuse along the sides of the nose, the center of the face. No extra product, just to create that soft, brighter focus through the middle. Where I want the brightening to stay more defined, I apply a little more concealer and let it sit briefly before blending, like on the center of the nose and the chin. But for the areas where I want a softer sculpted brightness, such as forehead, under the cheekbones, or around the upper lip, I use less product and I blend it out more quickly. The longer you let the concealer to sit before blending, the more coverage and brightness you will get. Where I want the brightening to stay more intense and precise, I switch to a small dry beauty blender. I blend very gently using light tapping motions, just pressing the product into the skin rather than moving it around. A damp sponge tends to shear the product out and make it softer and more diffused, whereas a dry sponge helps to keep the concealer in place, maintaining coverage and brightness. To enhance the contour I already created and make sure it lasts longer, I'm setting it with powder bronzer. This one is a warm, softly radiant bronzer from Dior. With a fluffy brush, I pick up a small amount of product and I gently tap over the areas where I applied cream contour earlier. I'm not sweeping or dragging, I just lightly press the powder in so I set the cream underneath without disturbing it. Then I switch to a smaller brush and do the same thing around the nose and the eye area, gently setting anywhere where I added cream contour earlier. Now moving on to defining the eyes. For this, I'm using a waterproof dark brown eye pencil from Dior. With the eyes closed, I run the pencil along the lash line, keeping it soft and gradually making it slightly thicker towards the outer corner. When the eyes are open, it's much easier to see the direction and decide how far you want to lift and extend the wing. So I guide it gently towards the temples and then ask her to close her eyes again so I can smoothly connect the flick back into the lash line and keep everything even and balanced. This doesn't need to be perfect because we are going to soften it. I take a small precision brush and gently smudge along the top of the liner using light back and forth motions to diffuse the edges. Once it's softened, I go back with a bit of more pencil, mainly on the outer corner, and blend again. This way, we build the intensity gradually, and that keeps full control of how soft or defined the liner looks. Because this is a creamy product, I want to set it with powder so it lasts longer and doesn't smudge as the day goes on. So I take a dark brown matte eyeshadow in the same tone as the pencil. This one is from Estee Lauder palette. And with a small precision brush, I gently tap over the liner to set it in place. Then I switch to a slightly larger, clean pencil brush and softly blend along the edges. This diffuses the liner just enough to give it a soft, smoked-out finish. From the same Estee Lauder palette, I pick up a sheer light satin shade and gently dab onto the center of the lid. This softly sets the lid with powder and adds a hint of brightness and helps prevent creasing. This next step is completely optional, but I like to softly frame the lower lash line to give the eye a more almond-shaped look. But if you prefer a lighter, more lifted or airy finish, you can absolutely skip this. So for this look, I'm using a small precision brush with a soft mix of brown and gray tones from the same Estée Lauder palette, and I'm gently running it along the lower lash line. Then I add a touch of bronzer on a pencil brush to soften the edges, create a smoother transition, and bring a bit more warmth to the eye. To intensify the eye shape just a touch more, I'm taking the same dark brown matte eyeshadow and softly working it into the outer crease and along the lash line. And then with the clean, round precision brush, I go over the edges to soften everything out and keep the transition smooth. Because I added more depth to the upper eyelid, I finish by applying a touch of black waterproof eye pencil from Dior to the outer part of the lower lash line, just to balance the look and subtly enhance the lifted shape of the eye. To prevent creasing without drying out under eye area, I set it with an under eye powder from Beauty Drugs. I work a small amount of powder into a puff and gently press under the eyes to set everything in place. For the rest of the face, I'm setting with the HD Skin Loose Setting Powder from Makeup Forever in medium neutral shade. I work a small amount of powder into the puff and gently press onto the areas that haven't been set yet. The skin should feel set but still comfortable, not sticky anywhere. Pressing powder into the skin like this is the key for long-lasting makeup, especially in warm, humid conditions. To add a soft touch of color, I'm using a blush from Dior in Rose Montagna. I apply it lightly to the high points of the face, like the tops of the cheekbones, a touch on the forehead, the nose and chin, just to create a gentle, healthy flush. It's a satin blush that isn't overly pigmented, so it gives a natural-looking wash of color without overpowering the skin. I already added subtle glow during skin prep, so here I'm just enhancing the same high points. I'm using a highlighter from Dior in the shade Rosewood and applying a very light touch to the tops of the cheekbones, cupid's bow, chin, and the tiniest amount on the tip of the nose. I switch to a small pencil brush and I add a touch of highlighter to the inner arch of the crease. This catches the light in a very subtle way and helps define the shape of the eye, making it look more dimensional rather than flat. I also apply a small amount on the bridge and the tip of the nose and the cupid's bow, so those features catch the light a bit more and naturally stand out. Now I'm going back to the brows and setting them with the clear brow gel from Benefit. I brush the hairs upward to fluff them up and give the brows a more lifted, modern feel. I leave them to set like this for a moment before I go back in with the pencil. In the meantime, I'm adding a few individual lashes to give the eyes a bit more definition and a soft glam finish. If you're applying lashes on yourself, clusters or half lash can be an easier option. Lashes always are optional, but if you have the time, they're a beautiful way to elevate the look. While the lash glue is drying, I'm going back to the brows and lightly filling them in with a brow pencil from Dior, and I'm using a slightly cooler, ashier tone to refine the shape and add a bit more structure. I want to give complexion a more radiant, soft satin finish, so I'm using the Luminous Silk Glow Fusion Powder from Giorgio Armani in a medium neutral shade. I just lightly dust it over the face to add a subtle, light reflecting glow so the skin looks more smooth, healthy, and luminous. Now that the lash glue is completely dry, I'm going in with mascara and I'm gently applying from underneath to blend the natural lashes into individual ones. I also add a little touch of mascara to the lower lashes, but this is completely optional, but it helps to open up the eyes and gives a slightly wider, more defined look. I leave the lips for last and begin by softly defining the shape with the lip pencil from MAC in shade Flamingo. Because the lips were deeply hydrated earlier, the pencil glides on effortlessly. I stay close to the natural lip line and I gently blend it inward to keep the definition smooth and diffused. To finish, I apply a nude lip maximizer from Dior in shade Beige. It adds moisture and subtle fullness, giving the lips a healthy, polished finish that ties in beautifully with the glowing skin. When it comes to choosing a lip color, I always consider the entire look, the makeup as a whole and the outfit as well, so nothing competes and the final result feels cohesive, balanced, and intentional. Now this is where I seal the deal with the finishing spray, especially when stepping out into heat and humidity. I'm using the all-nighter finishing spray from Urban Decay, which locks the makeup in and creates a lightweight film to prevent fading, smudging, and breakdown throughout the day. Spray from a distance and avoid touching the skin until it's completely dry. And this is the final result: radiant skin, soft definition, and makeup designed last in warm, humid conditions. Seeing how much more confident she looks now compared to the beginning, that shift in energy, this is what I love the most, and this is exactly why I love what I do. This look was created in Barcelona, where is warm, sunny, and definitely humid. And I can honestly say this held up beautifully in these conditions. I really hope you enjoyed this video and picked up a few tips along the way.